The night was quiet in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the kind of stillness that blankets a college town in the early hours of a summer morning. But at Hunter Ridge Apartments, a call crackled through the police radio, urgent and unsettling. A 24-year-old Western Michigan University student, Aniya Mack, hadn't been seen or heard from in days. To her friends, this wasn't just unusual, it was unthinkable. Aniya, a vibrant psychology major with a smile that lit up rooms, was the last person to vanish without a trace. As officers approached her apartment, the glow of a television flickered through the window, but no one answered the door. What they didn't know was that a chance encounter in the parking lot was about to unravel a secret so shocking, it would turn a routine missing persons case into a chilling tale of betrayal and murder. For true crime enthusiasts, this is a story of deception, hidden relationships, and a devastating truth that no one saw coming. Stay with us as we uncover what really happened to Aniya Mack, and why the answers lie in the shadows of her own life. Background and setup. Aniya Mack, known to her friends as Nia, was a force of nature. Born and raised in Louisiana, she carried a warmth and charisma that drew people to her. By 2018, at 24 years old, she was a psychology major at Western Michigan University, living in the off-campus Hunter Ridge Apartments in Kalamazoo. Her apartment, tucked into a multi-story complex filled with fellow students, was a hub of activity, reflecting Nia's boundless energy. In high school, she had been a star, an honor roll student, member of the Student Council, Health Occupations Association, marching band, concert band, varsity cheerleading, volleyball, and softball. At WMU, she continued to shine, singing in the church choir and dancing with the university's all-girls dance group. Nia was a social butterfly, always surrounded by friends, always reachable, until she wasn't. Her disappearance in late June 2018 sent ripples of panic through her tight-knit circle. Her best friend, LaQuenta Watson, was the first to sound the alarm. She told police she spoke with Nia almost daily, but for the past few days, her calls had gone straight to voicemail. LaQuenta's concern deepened when she checked with Nia's new employer, the Great Lakes Alternative Research Center, where Nia worked with autistic children. Nia had landed the job just 3 months earlier and loved it, yet she had failed to show up for 2 consecutive shifts. This wasn't like her. Nia's childhood friend, Dominic Thomas, echoed LaQuenta's fears, meeting police at the apartment after speaking with Nia's mother, Loretta, in Louisiana. "It's unlike her to just not answer the phone," Dominic said, his voice heavy with worry. "If anything was going on, she'd call me, I know for a fact." Nia's life wasn't without complications. Her boyfriend, 25-year-old Donovan Lewis, had a history with her that wasn't always smooth. Donovan, a former community college basketball player and YMCA lifeguard, had recently returned to Kalamazoo after a brief stint in Indianapolis. He was working the night shift as a janitor at a local manufacturing firm, trying to rebuild his life. But friends hinted at tension in their relationship. Dominic told police about past incidents, including one where Donovan threw water on Nia and another where he rolled up her arm in a car window during an argument. They went back and forth, Dominic admitted, though he stopped short of calling it outright violence. As officers arrived at Hunter Ridge Apartments on June 28, 2018, they found Nia's white 2008 Chevy Malibu in the parking lot, without a license plate. Nearby, another nearly identical Malibu bore Nia's plates but was registered to a man named Gustavo. Both vehicles had 2 flat tires, rendering them undrivable. Inside Nia's apartment, a television blared, and a light glowed, but no one answered the door. The scene was eerie, a snapshot of a life interrupted. For viewers wondering what happened next, consider this. What would you do if you found 2 cars, one with swapped plates, and an apartment that felt like someone had just been there, but no sign of the person you're looking for? The crime inside Nia's apartment, officers found a scene that raised more questions than answers. Her roommate, Cora, let them in, explaining that she and Nia often went days without crossing paths due to their busy schedules. Cora had been away for the weekend, returning only that morning to find the air conditioning on and a load of laundry, men's clothes and 2 teal bath mats, running in the washer. The bathtub in Nia's bathroom was full of water, as if she had planned to take a bath but never did. Her purse, makeup, and hair products, items she'd never leave behind, were still in her bedroom. The apartment showed no obvious signs of a struggle, yet the details didn't add up. Why was the bathtub full? Who had started the laundry? And what was the deal with the two Malibus outside? As officers puzzled over these oddities, the case took a dramatic turn. While standing in the parking lot, discussing their next steps, a man approached them from the shadows. He wore a black t-shirt, khaki shorts, and a backpack, his demeanor calm but resolute. "What's going on?" he asked. Before the officers could respond, he dropped a bombshell. "I killed my girlfriend." The man was Donovan Lewis, Nia's boyfriend, and his confession came out of nowhere, chilling the officers to the core. They read him his Miranda rights as he continued to talk, his words tumbling out in a mix of regret and resignation. "She's out in the river on the east side of the city," he said, his voice flat. The officers, stunned, realized they were no longer dealing with a missing persons case. This was a homicide. Donovan's confession painted a grim picture. He claimed that on Sunday, June 24, 2018, he and Nia had argued in her apartment. The fight was fueled by his discovery of text messages on her phone, messages he believed were from her pastor, Strickland, of the Second Baptist Church. Donovan alleged that Nia was involved with the pastor, a married man and the local NAACP president, who had been paying her rent, phone bill, and even provided her with the second Malibu. According to Donovan, Nia was blackmailing the pastor, threatening to expose their relationship. That Sunday, tensions boiled over. Nia, preparing to take a bath, told Donovan she wanted him gone for good. She began packing his belongings into a suitcase. Enraged, Donovan said he struck her, knocking her unconscious. He then went to the kitchen, grabbed a large knife, and returned to the bedroom. In a moment of drunken fury, he slit her throat and stabbed her. To cover his tracks, he placed a garbage bag over her head, stuffed her body into the suitcase, and dumped it in a dumpster outside the apartment. The next day, he retrieved the suitcase using his mother's van and drove to Comstock Creek, where he sank it in deep, muddy water. For those following along, here's a decision point. What do you think the police found when they searched the apartment for evidence of this brutal crime? Would there be blood, or had Donovan cleaned it too well? The investigation moved swiftly after Donovan's confession. Officers returned to Nia's apartment, now a crime scene, to search for evidence. At first glance, there were no obvious signs of a stabbing, no pools of blood, no overturned furniture. But a closer look revealed subtle clues: small bloodstains in the hallway, on the edge of Nia's bed, and on the bedroom carpet. Cleaning products found in the apartment suggested Donovan had tried to erase his crime. He had disposed of a mattress cover in the apartment dumpster, which had already been collected, and thrown his own clothes away at his mother's house. Nia's purse, ID, and bank cards were discarded near his workplace, though only some of this evidence was recovered. The most critical task was locating Nia's body. Donovan agreed to lead police to Comstock Creek, a secluded waterway on the east side of Kalamazoo. The terrain was treacherous, with steep slopes and thick vegetation. Donovan pointed to a spot in the deep, muddy water where he had sunk the suitcase. Searchers, unable to wade in, deployed a rescue boat. After a tense search, they recovered the suitcase, its luggage tag still attached. Inside was Nia's body, confirming Donovan's account. The murder weapon, a black-handled butcher knife, was never found, despite efforts to search the creek's banks. Detectives also investigated Donovan's claims about Pastor Strickland. When questioned, Strickland denied any romantic relationship with Nia, insisting she was merely a member of his congregation and choir. He confirmed that Nia had joined a choir trip to Mississippi earlier that year, where she met a young man. According to Strickland, Nia hid this new relationship by saving the man's contact information under Strickland's name to avoid suspicion from Donovan. Strickland also claimed ownership of the second Malibu, saying it belonged to his wife, but he couldn't produce a title or bill of sale. The car's ownership remained unresolved, adding another layer of mystery. Months later, Strickland faced his own legal troubles. 3 teenagers from his church accused him and his wife of sexual assault, alleging they used their authority to coerce victims. Text messages and screenshots from the victims' phones supported their claims. In February 2023, Strickland took a plea deal, admitting to offering transportation services for prostitution. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison, maintaining his innocence in a lengthy statement that blamed the prosecution for forcing his hand. What would you do next if you were the lead detective? Would you focus on the pastor's murky role or double down on the physical evidence tying Donovan to the crime? Outcome and aftermath: Donovan Lewis' case took a dramatic turn before it even reached trial. 3 days before his court date for first-degree murder, he made a brazen escape from the Kalamazoo County Jail. During recreation time in the jail's yard, he scaled 2 15-foot walls, one topped with barbed wire, the other with razor wire, and a third fence separating the jail from a business loop. Remarkably, he emerged unscathed. His freedom was short-lived. He was captured just over 30 minutes later, about 100 yards from the jail, after discarding his jumpsuit. Donovan claimed he fled due to death threats against his family, but no evidence supported this. Facing the prospect of a grueling trial, Aniya's family opted for closure. In late 2018, Donovan accepted a plea deal for second-degree murder. At sentencing, he expressed remorse, saying, "I can't imagine the hurt I've caused. I just want to say sorry to the family." The judge acknowledged Donovan's cooperation and remorse but condemned his actions. Aniya didn't deserve to be hit, to be put unconscious, to be stabbed and murdered, and her body didn't deserve to be treated less than garbage. Donovan was sentenced to 25 to 40 years for the murder, with an additional 17 months to 4 years for the escape. Aniya's family found some solace in the sentence. Her sister, speaking to reporters, said, "I'm okay with it because my sister is okay with it. He has to live with what he's done." The community mourned Aniya, remembering her as a beacon of light who loved mental health advocacy, autism research, and children. Her legacy lived on through those who knew her, who honored her wish for a vibrant, colorful home-going rather than a somber farewell. Pastor Strickland, now going by Dr. Floyd Strickland, resumed his ministerial work at Galilee Baptist Church in Mount Olive, Mississippi, after serving his brief sentence. The unresolved questions about his role in Aniya's life lingered, a shadow over the case's resolution. Closing reflection: the murder of Aniya Mack is a heartbreaking reminder that even the brightest lives can be extinguished by jealousy, betrayal, and hidden secrets. Aniya's story began with a routine police call and ended with a confession that shocked a community. It forces us to ask, how well do we know those closest to us? What lies beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary relationships? As we reflect on Aniya's vibrant spirit and tragic end, we're left with a sobering truth. In the quiet corners of a college town, darkness can hide in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to unravel everything.